Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching The Breakfast Show live on Nile TV International. And we're continuing our discussion here in the studio with Dr. Allki Thomas, and she's a tourism expert talking about the path of the Holy Family in Egypt and how can we boost this religious and cultural, as well as archaeological, of course, tourism in Egypt. And Doctor, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Yes, again, talking about the target, you are targeting the 250 million Orthodox worldwide.
Yes.
Tell us more about the campaign. How are you going to work on this, and where are we now from this huge campaign?
Well, the campaign should start with some simple meetings. I wish if we could do it between the Greek Orthodoxy Church here and the responsible of the Tourism Development Authority, Mr. Adel El-Gendi. He's the Managing Director for the International Relation and Strategic Planning of the Path of the Holy Family. A marvelous person, and he did a lot of work, and we wish if we could sit together and arrange a meeting with my church and start to see how we can promote it our both heritage here in Egypt, because we have heritage as well, all together, and unite in order to announce it, so the church can help us in this, in cooperation, of course, with the Coptic Church. We are talking about 13 patriarchates all over the world. We have in Constantinople, we have in Jerusalem, we have Cyprus, we have Greece, we have Serbia, we have Czech Republic, we have Moscow. I hope that I did not. We have Antakya. I wish if I did not forget any. But the 200 million should be. It's the second biggest church after the Catholic, and the path of the Holy Family should be announced to them as well.
Doctor, so far, how many out of those 250 million people have you targeted so far?
So far, Greeks and Cypriots. So far, Greeks and Cypriots, and we will see. Because I would like to explain myself. I'm not working in tourism, but this part, the path of the Holy Family, is very important to me because it's one of my initiatives.
Yes.
So, what are you going to do next? I mean, now we are working, or as you mentioned, you are working on the trilateral or on the triangle, Egypt, Greece, Cyprus.
Yes.
So, what is next? I mean, what is next in this triangle, and what is next for others as well?
In this triangle, I think that our leaders, the leaders of the three countries, are doing a marvelous job, which of course they encourage our work as well in investments. My next step is I'm planning for, and I wish if it could happen, it's supposed to happen like 2 years ago and it's postponed, a businesswoman conference to collect the ladies of the three countries, and one of the major subjects that should be discussed is tourism and the path of the Holy Family.
I think the most interesting part is that usually when we say presidents, after visiting each other and after having some or signing some agreements and protocols, they pave the way for the citizens actually of each of the countries they visit, and to start working and to bring nations together. And I think here I feel this is exactly what happened with you.
Of course, I'm very proud. I'm not only Greek, I'm Egyptian as well. I'm a third generation here in Egypt. My grandfather was here since 1904. He came from an island in Greece. And but anyway, let's not get out of the subject. I'm very proud of His Excellency President Sisi. With his, since he got the presidency, and how active he is, of course, it affected my work and affected a lot of us business-wise, and of course in investments, because this is my my main target, investments,
I
trading.
think because we
and
always say
tourism.
that politics can never be separated from the rest of our aspects of life, actually.
No,
it is the basic.
it is-
Even for economy,
yes.
for tourism, for everything. It all has to do with politics.
Yes, yes, it's true. At least it affected my work a lot positively. Yes.
In light of what you just said, Doctor, do you believe that the cooperation between Egypt and Greece has reached its full potential, or is there still yet to come?
No, we still have a lot to. We have many potentials that we should start sit on the table and discuss it. We know here in Egypt we have the industrial areas that we have. Do you know that in Upper Egypt there are around 52 industrial areas? That will be encouraged, production will be encouraged by the path of the Holy Family, where tourism starts in Upper Egypt, Al Said. We have the Suez Canal, we have the free trade agreements that Egypt signed now to attract an we used to say to a Greek investor, so if you come here, the population used to be 90 million or 100 million now, target 10% of them, consumers. Now the number is huge with the trade agreements that we signed all over the world. It's 1.8 billion consumers. So there are a lot to discuss, a lot.
Talking about also Egypt and tourism, as you mentioned, I believe also that we have an entity who can be responsible for bringing churches together here in Egypt. As we mentioned, when it comes to politics, and I think you will agree with me that now Egypt has a very strong and good relation on the international level with all countries. If we're, for example, as you mentioned, Russia, for example, some other countries, talking about the 250 millions as well.
Yes.
What can we do in this respect?
I believe that the Ministry of Tourism, with the active minister, Her Excellency Mrs. Rani Al-Mashat, that would be the main entity that can collect all this puzzle. And especially the Tourism Development Authority. As I mentioned before, the responsible is Mr. Aider Gendi, and I wish if we could concentrate from now on for the 250 million as well.
Yes. Doctor, as we're wrapping this segment up, we'd like to hear from you your final comments, please.
There are a lot of potentials between Greece, Egypt, and Cyprus. I believe in this country a lot. His Excellency President Sisi did a lot of work, hard work, and he opens a lot of gates for us, internally and externally.
Dr. Allki Thomas, tourism expert, thank you so much for your insight, and thank you so much for being with us on The Breakfast Show.
Thank you too. Thank you.
And dear viewers, now we move on to a short break, and then be back to resume The Breakfast Show live on Nile TV International.